Hey everybody, welcome back. So today we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. So I'm gonna go ahead and press play on this. So a while ago I recorded a build of a house that I wanted to do kind of in celebration of cats and dogs after it was released in The Sims 4 because as you know I have 3 dogs and like I'm addicted to animals. So I kind of wanted to do a house that was like full on about cats and dogs, and so that's where this idea came into view. I recorded it and it ended up being 8 hours, so as you can probably guess that was pretty long, so I didn't really want to release it in 2 parts or like an 8-hour video. So what I went ahead and did is sped this up by 8 times, so this build even sped up is still an hour long. So it is 8 times fast, so it's a little hard to see at some points. So we might jump into the game afterward and kind of take a look at it. But yeah, so the idea I was kind of going for is I wanted this big like mansion house with this family that could have as many dogs and cats as you want. Of course, there's a limit in family sizes in The Sims. But I didn't care. I wanted to just make a house that was like all about cats and dogs. So I tried to build this like shell, and I was trying to get. I always struggle with roofing, but this ended up turning out pretty well, even with like the little pop out bits in the front. I did go for pretty much a symmetrical kind of looking house instead of doing like weird odd bits. The back part is a little bit different because I wanted these like tiered balconies. Just because I thought they'd be really cool, and I really like big houses that have like wraparound porches and stuff like that. That style didn't quite suit this house, I didn't think, but I still like the idea of having like these big balconies on the side or whatever. Yeah, and on the sides here, I was kind of worried because it's just a big blank side, but like honestly, the sides compared to the length of the house isn't that big, so I just kind of left it. Added some windows and stuff. The roofing on that part is a little weird because there's this weird space in between those two things, but I ended up keeping it like this because I think that looked better in the end. Yeah, and I played with like a sky roof or a skylight at some point. Speaking of cats and dogs, my dog is being a brat. So this is the part where I I kind of like struggled for a bit because I could not figure out what color I wanted to make this house or like what style. So after I got kind of the general structure of the house, I didn't really know like what type of house I wanted to go into because this is a pretty like contemporary style shell. But once I saw this yellow, I was like in love. I don't know what it is, but I love like a yellow siding house with like a dark trim like this. I love it. And it's got like that rich trim. So I had to get the big front porch on here. And I love this dark roof with this like light yellow. At this point, I kind of decided that I kind of wanted to bring in kind of a craftsman feel. There isn't too many features in The Sims 4 that has like full-on craftsman style, but whenever I was looking at doors, I kind of wanted to bring in that oldie, like North American little minute details in the house or whatever. And I just kept this dark wood theme throughout. And like stuff like this, like the railing and stuff is super important in that style of house. And you can see I'm still kind of going back and forth on what kind of style I want to do. But like the railing and like the front door really kind of just set it in. And like this is the closest I can get to craftsman style. I guess there are some now in the game. This was a little bit a while ago. But there are some pillars now that are more craftsman style. But you don't really see the ones that are like triangle kind of like they do in those houses. But these suited it just fine. The hardest part in here was finding windows to match all of this wood because I hate, and maybe this is just my like some slight form of OCD, but I hate whenever in Sims, there's so many wood tones, and like it's so hard to like match different wood tones between different packs. There's so it's hard to match wood tones even in the same pack, honestly. Um, but I have to. They have to match because I guess it doesn't really matter if they match the inside, but like you can't paint in The Sims. You can't paint the inside of a frame different than the outside of a frame, which in real life you could obviously do. So we kind of keep this dark wood tone throughout, and I don't think it looks too bad. I also extended the balconies on the back. Instead of doing tier balconies, I just pulled them out so that they had a nice covered back patio. I think it ended up looking a lot nicer. Yep, and this is where I struggle for a while to find windows that I like. Because not only does it have to have the matching wood tone, it has to have like a matching style too, right? So it's hard because there's not even that many windows that are necessarily good. And I was thinking for a while if I wanted to get the windows from Cats and Dogs, which is what these are, and I really do like these windows. They didn't necessarily fit the aesthetic, and I don't know what those windows are from. Oh, those are from Seasons, and I think they just looked like the wood tones for one matched a little bit closer to what I already had, and also I think they just fit the style of house that I was going for a little bit better. And I kind of just like threw windows everywhere. Also, I really hate whenever they have like balconies or like that and there's no access to it in these games, so I kind of want to make it pretty realistic in that sense. So yeah, and I think I go back and change some of these windows, but I love like a house with like a bazillion windows. I think if you have like a dark trim like that, it looks a little bit better. But I don't see the point in having like a giant house with no windows, you know what I mean? So this is just me trying to like match the color of the wood so that we have a nice back door to our big back patio area. And then these come out. So there's going to be bedrooms attached to these, I think. So I wanted something that looked like it went to a bedroom, but also, you know, looked nice. Also, I realized after I had built this, I couldn't have a too wide door at the back because I think it's the stairs are 3 wide, so it would look weird. I think there's 3 wide doors now, so I could have done that. All right, I think we are no, we're still outside. Yeah, this was also hard because it was like, oh, I did all this dark wood. Am I gonna do dark like wood on the front and back porch? And it ended up looking okay. I don't think it looks too bad. It probably doesn't look very realistic in that sense. Oh man, floor trim. This stuff haunts me. I could not for the life of me get that floor trim to not go all over the porch. It took a bit of finagling. I think I might even have cut some of this out just because I was like, why does it hate me? Because I mean, you can't have that white edge there. It looks so bad. And of course I had to find one that matched the wood because otherwise it would be like, This is me just looking through details that I can put on the outside of the house to kind of make it look a little bit more realistic. It would make sense for you to have these big like upstairs like balconies or whatever without any kind of support. Just throwing on some of that little bit of stuff that makes it look more like a house instead of just like, I don't know, a Sims game house. I played with a lot of this stuff, but it didn't really fit like that craftsman style look. I mean, this isn't like 100%. I guess it's more just contemporary, but like it's like craftsman style inspired. That's kind of what I was going for. And whenever I was going through these, I really wanted one of these, but none of the wood matched or the roofing. So I had to give up, which honestly, I think the amount of stuff on it already is plenty. There's no need to add more roof or windows to it. Yeah, I wanted to add these too, but I think some of them just didn't quite match what I was looking for. And honestly, I was kind of wondering if I even should have left those on there because they were like the same color as the roof, so they're like impossible to see. And at that point, it's like, what's the point? Yeah, I got a little chimney up there. I don't know if I put a fireplace in this. So this was before you could change the shape of stairs. So probably honestly you would have like a nice like stairwell area, but the stairs had to be straight in here. So I'm working on the downstairs layout here. I'm kind of going for a kitchen in this area and a formal dining room in the front. I don't have, I guess there is like there's a breakfast bar that you can eat at. I wanted a bathroom on both the downstairs and the upstairs like you would see in real life, because you would have to have some kind of water closet downstairs. And I was initially thinking it would be right next to the stairs, but I do move that later. And this is the upstairs, so I'm making two big rooms, one for cats, one for dogs, and then a kid's room and a parent's room. Here's where I realized that that area for the stairs wasn't going to work because of the rooms. So I moved the bathroom to the front, which I think is fine for a downstairs bathroom. It's a little weird being like in the entryway, but it works out. And it's only a two-piece bath because it's like oh, I don't know. It's like whenever you have guests over and whatnot. So there's actually quite a large bathroom. So there's an ensuite for the master bedroom, and then there's a really large bathroom, which I kind of like. At one point, I was just like, I don't know what to put in this bathroom. So I kind of ran out of like ideas on what even to put in there. But they're pretty big bathrooms. I mean, considering it was me turning on Move Objects cheat. Because I wanted that window to go there regardless of that wall, which is kind of why I made the master bathroom bigger, was so that I could line it up with that window and not have to change the style of window. So I carried these pillars through the inside, and I wanted this like archway to be bigger because they didn't have 3 wide archway. So I have this big archway here in between the kitchen and the formal dining room. I think normally in a formal dining room you'd have a door, but I don't know. I wanted to kind of think that they brought this a little bit modernized, you know. These kitchen cabinets I freaking love in this game. I think they look so good and modern and like just like cozy house, right? So I was trying to find an archway to match those pillars. And also here I wanted like this big open, but it kind of looked weird just having a little open. So I went back and forth a lot on this because I was like, should I have it completely open? But I went for like a really wide archway there because I think that looks good with the thing in the middle, whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about. Now we get in the appliances, and so I really went full detail in this kitchen. So one of the things I love to do in kitchens is make them really bright. Because, like, the idea in a kitchen is it's supposed to wake you up in the morning, right? So I went for, like, a really bright look in the kitchen. I did these white cabinets up top. And at first I did it with the windows there. And I realized how stupid that would look. And how nobody would have that in real life. So I ended up changing the window over here to, well, actually I changed on both sides. Because it just wasn't going to work with the 3. So I changed it to this window so that it could be above the cabinets, but still look okay. And I just changed the other side to match because the whole house is going to be like symmetrical, right? I'm just going through and moving all the windows back up because if you're going to have windows up in the kitchen, you would have them everywhere. So I just move them up. They're probably a little high considering they're like at least like hip height for an adult, but that's okay. The upstairs, the windows are a little bit lower, I think. I got the matching stove, and now we have cabinets that are on either side, which looks a little bit normal than like one window. So here's where I was trying to find like a nice yellow or orange, and I wanted to do a backsplash that was nice too, but all of them were super dark, which I just didn't think looked good in a kitchen. I don't know. I went back and forth on that a lot because I was like, I don't know. Me deciding that all the colors in this game suck. Like, I don't see why they can't have... I don't know. I wish they had color pickers in this game. That's the only thing. Because, like, some of the swatches are really great, and then, like, the accent is terrible, you know what I mean? And this was, like, a bright yellow. And I realized that bright of a yellow, we could do anything on this backsplash. So I went with the darker backslash to kind of offset that bright yellow, because it's pretty bright. It's probably a little bit brighter than I would probably want in my kitchen. But there's so many dark features in here, I feel like it's okay. We can kind of get away with it. So I'm putting all the fixins in. You have to have a coffee pot. You have to have a microwave. Oh my gosh, the one thing I hate in this game more than anything is curtains. You don't even know. I cut all of that out because I spent like 1,000, like probably like an hour, not an hour, but like 20 minutes looking through every curtain in the game and trying to like decide which curtain I would get. And I finally just gave up and said these will do because the curtains in this game are terrible. There's no curtains that match any windows. Like, if okay, my thing is, right, you can have every single different type of curtain. Just make them like sizable or something, or scale them to the window that they're going on top of, because they snap to the window, so they know there's a window there. But good golly, it's just impossible. They make all these windows that they make no curtains for. So if you release windows in a pack, why don't you release curtains in a pack? Yes, that narrows down what you can use with the windows, but at least you have something. Something. Anyway, I settled for these curtains. They're fine. I mean, the biggest problem is that the windows are above the counters, which probably is just because of... If I hadn't had the opening for the dining room, instead made them walk around, it probably would have been fine, because then I wouldn't have counters or windows above the counter. But I feel like the sink should always be in front of a window. Maybe that's just me. So I'm adding little features to make it a little bit more like cozy home. And I know that those lights are kind of bright there, but did I end up leaving the sink in the middle? I can't remember if I did or not. Just trying to fill out this room, make it a little bit more like homey and not so like model house, you know? Because I feel like that's my biggest problem in The Sims, is a lot of the times the house just look like a model home instead of like somewhere you'd actually want to live. I was trying to get that closer to the stove, but it was not having it. And I didn't feel like moving it any more than that. I was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Because our stuff doesn't always sit in the same place. I was trying to find something to put in this corner, and it took me a bit, because I was like, oh, there needs to be something here. I think I settled for a plant, which there's a lot more plants in this house than I would normally put in a house, because I'm not a plant person. But in The Sims it works, because it adds a nice little decoration. I guess I did leave the sink in the middle. I thought I left it under the... I mean, I like sinks in the island. It just, I feel like it takes away a lot of the usability of it, you know what I mean? Yeah, and you'll see me hopping back and forth in between rooms every once in a while, because I'll get inspired by something and want to put it in a different room. Also, I really love that poster, because like there's so many swatches, and you can just like change to like 1,000 things. Yeah, putting things on this yellow was pretty hard. And then I decided, I don't remember what I put by here. I was like, who would really put a painting behind your fridge? Because you'd be smashing it all the time. But I guess it's just a freezer. I almost forgot to put flooring in here, because I was just like, alright, I'm done with this room. It was kind of hard to find a flooring, but I always think tiles should go in the kitchen. I don't know why you would have anything else. And I thought about putting something darker in here again, just because of that bright yellow, but there's already enough dark. So I just went with a nice light white tile, which is fine. Now we're moving on to the formal dining room. So this is kind of like, the dining room is kind of like the opposite of the the kitchen. So where the kitchen is bright and wakes you up and makes you want to get some coffee in, get up and go, the dining room's kind of like mellow, dark, like you're settling down for the day, having a nice meal with family. And this is kind of where I start deciding how I want the furniture to be, because you can have like a different style house from your furniture, right? So I was trying to figure out if I wanted like more classic or more like contemporary. And I think we go for more of like a contemporary, like modern family look. here's where I decide that the island is too small. And then I'm put the end pieces on because they look nicer. I like the 4 there, but like it just seems so big. Yeah, there we go. Center it up a little bit. I can't believe I left the sink there. I don't remember doing that. I like the sink in the island. It's not very cost effective, but it just seems silly because I went through all that effort with the window, you know what I mean? The kitchen's probably one of my favorite things in this house, though. I thought about putting a seat here, but then I thought about it and it didn't make much sense. So I think I just threw that somewhere else in the house. Because whenever I planned out this little alcove, I didn't really think of what rooms were going here. I tended to just build the outer shell and then figure out the inside later. Which you can kind of tell. But I wasn't really sure what to do with that space, so I just threw a bar in there that looked kind of classic-y. Something that we would have, you know? Yeah, you can tell, like, even with 8 times speed, this is still... Like, you can see how long it took me to, like, find stuff that I like. Also, another thing in this game that are kind of crappy is the rugs. There's not a good, like, rug selection. There's a lot of crappy rugs. And then at this point, I was kind of like, what do you put in a dining room? Like, our dining room in our new house now has our bookshelves in it because we didn't know what else to put in there. Otherwise, it would be a room with just a giant table, and that's it. So I was kind of at a loss for this. And then I ended up just, like, putting a lot of, like, knick-knacky, like, look at the stuff that we have kind of stuff. I wanted a tapestry, but they didn't have any tapestries in the game quite yet. So I went for some, like, for classic stuff. Once I went through these decorations, I found a lot of stuff. I was like, oh, this should be in the kitchen. It's not even a category I went through. And I thought having, like, you know, fancy bottles of alcohol in that cabinet would make a lot of sense. I did not know what to do with this wall until I saw this. I was like, I must have a shield. Because that's what we have. We have all of our knife collection and stuff in our dining room. We also have our D&D Minis collection in the hutch in the dining room where you would normally put, like, it had his mom's nice silver platters and stuff in there, and I was like, I don't want this. So we packed those up and put our minis in there, which I still need to get some lights for, but it's pretty cool. It's like this fancy cabinet that we just put minis in. So this is a pretty big entryway, and I wasn't really sure what to put in an entryway, right? Our entryway for our house, even though, like, whenever I was building this, we lived in our old house, which didn't have an entryway. But the one in this house is pretty small considering. It's just, you know, like 6 feet wide, and it butts up to the back of the fireplace. And we just have, like, one, like, long cabinet that we keep our stuff on. But I wanted something that was, like, made sense and was also functional. So stuff that you would actually have, so somewhere to sit down and put your shoes on or take your shoes off. I'm one of those people that as soon as I walk in, I take my shoes off. Place that you could drop your keys, drop your purse, stuff like that. So that's kind of the theme I went for, and like a little bit of decoration here and there just to make it look like, you know, lived in. I don't know, every time I like ran out of ideas on what to put, I just threw a plant in. I was like, this space looks empty, here's a plant. Also rugs, I do that with rugs a lot too. I was like, ooh, this looks empty. The only thing I wish I would have done a little bit more of is put in some like nice lights, because I have a lot of these like pot lights in here, which is fine, but also I love just this furniture right here. This looks so like entryway. This is exactly what you have here. I put dog treats there, but there's not an empty bowl in the game. I guess I could have gotten into the debug menu, but there's not like an empty bowl that I could just like shove there. So I just put in dog treats because whenever I get home, my dogs get a treat. So I'm surprised they haven't like heard me say that word like 6 times. yeah, here's where I was like, maybe I should change the wood cover colors. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. It's too much work. So this is the hallway in between the kitchen and the living room, and then it goes back to the back patio. And I wasn't sure what you really put in a big hallway like this, because I feel like there needed to be something, right? Because this is a pretty big area. So I have the dog food bowls because I had forgotten to put those in the kitchen, and I didn't feel like there was much room for it in the kitchen either. I could have probably extended the wall for the kitchen, but it looked fine. So I just put some more like decorative like tables and whatnot and stuff that you would like have before. I put in all those paintings because I really like little Asian paintings. I think they're pretty. So they would definitely be something that I would have in my house. And then I kind of like go back as I like see stuff in the menu. I go back and like drop it by that door, but I put like a hat hanger and stuff like that, the shoe rack, stuff you would have before going out your back door, you know what I mean? And then I realized this room didn't have curtains. And then I struggled. Oh, how I struggled, because you don't want like ugly curtains, you know? Like these are the only curtains that fit anything in this house. They're the only curtains that I think look halfway decent, and I wouldn't put those curtains in my house. I wouldn't have the little like flap thing. Also, the curtains stand so far off the window. Like, I hate how the windows are not, like, inset any, so you can't put curtains in it. I don't know. I guess you don't do that in a house either. I don't know. There's no insulation in Sims houses. So this is the downstairs bathroom. I did make it a full bath for convenience sake. I feel like if you had a big house where, you had kids and family and stuff over, you would have a full bath downstairs, even though you probably wouldn't use it. This is only ends up being like a 4 sim household, minus the cats and dogs. So I guess you could see them getting in the way of each other. Right here, I was trying to put this mirror in because I really like that mirror, but it sits so high up, and I feel like you would never have a mirror that high up. So I use a little cheat where you can move it up. I think they've changed this now. They've patched this to where you can move mirrors up, but you can't move them down. So you just have to take out the wall, place it where you want it, and then put the wall back in. I think it sticks a little bit from the wall, but it looks fine. So we're just getting details in now for the bathroom. I put in this toilet because I feel like this would be the classic toilet you'd find in this style of house. And then just little tiny things here and there. Some storage. I feel like this bathroom is a little empty, so I tried putting something there, but I don't know why you would have anything in the way. Also, you'd probably have curtains that were closed all the time because it's a toilet, but you can't really do that in The Sims. Just imagine they close them. So, since I did that bathroom, I went ahead and went upstairs and started working on the master bathroom and the main bathroom upstairs. Yeah, the master bathroom ended up working out pretty well. The layout's a little weird. I will say that. I think I ended up making it bigger because it needed to be, because I wanted it to be a 4-piece suite for, you know, the master bathroom. I wanted it to look nice, so I ended up shoving the shower in there and then everything else over here. Yeah, and then I made it a little bit, the door hallway a little bit narrower, which I don't know if I love it, but it made the bathroom look a lot better, so whatever works. And we're just kind of bringing up some of those same features that we had downstairs, upstairs. And then we're putting stuff in that main bathroom too. Gotta have the wash rug. Yeah, and this is such a weird little window right above the toilet, or the bath, and I imagine like they have something to block the window behind the shower, or that it wouldn't even be there. But, you know, it doesn't look good in The Sims, so I just left it out. Getting all the knick-knacky stuff. You know what's odd is, like, you probably wouldn't put all this stuff on your countertop, but it looks, like, so bland in The Sims. Whereas, like, open space looks nice in, like, a real house. It looks bland in The Sims. Like, you don't have any stuff. And I just put some stuff in here to make it a little bit more homey. put in some more storage because honestly it doesn't seem like they have that much storage for like a nice big house like this. So, and then I just make this another 4-piece situation. It's quite large, honestly, so I kind of just threw anything that you would ever need in a bathroom, so the house is usable. You can throw out what you don't need. And I just kept the bathrooms like really white and clean because I feel like bathrooms should be, honestly, I would probably go for more of a blue tone because I think they should be relaxing because like if you're in the bath you want to relax a little bit. But this white looked okay in here, so, and I just kept the dark features to kind of offset that. I don't know, maybe it's more of like a black and white build. But I put the little hutch in there because you would want a lot of storage for this giant bathroom. And I can just imagine like a couple kids running around in here brushing their teeth and stuff. And then at this point I was like, what do you decorate a bathroom with? I have no idea. This is the same thing I ran into whenever we were building the forward house. Still a problem years later. I recorded this like a couple of years ago when Cats and Dogs came out, so it's been a while. And then I found all this junk that you can put in the bathroom. Got a coat rack. This is where I like find random stuff and just throw it all over the house. I just feel like it would be a little bit more cluttered in that bathroom because like if you have kids, they're gonna have stuff, you know? Now we move on to the hallway. So I have this weird little nook right here that I kind of turned into, what am I doing? Oh, I put in a laundry room because I realized I hadn't made space for a laundry room. So I made a little space for a laundry room because I didn't want the kids' room to be the same size as the parents' room. So I made this nook like a little like study / office area. Kind of like a little area where you can sit, read, or play games, or do some stuff. Just because I felt like it would have been like an unused space otherwise, but it's like an upstairs loft area is kind of what I imagine it be. A lot of like big houses like this kind of have like a activities area up in these kinds of areas. So I thought it looked nice. And I didn't know what to put in this corner, and I felt like I didn't want to put another plant, so I put like a reading chair because I felt like in my dream home, corners would always have reading chairs, but there's not like a comfortable looking like chair in the game. There probably is now, but at this point there was not. That was like the most comfortable looking chair I could find, and it's so like old style. I'm getting some like family portraits on the walls and stuff like that, just stuff that you would see in a hallway. I imagine honestly that those would probably go downstairs, but we didn't have an upstairs in my house growing up, so you know. This is the laundry room that I decided to put in. It's actually quite large when you look at it, but it made the most sense the way it is. And you would have a pretty large one, I would imagine. So I just kind of like went all out on decor in this room. It's like this place where you keep all your cleaning supplies and laundry stuffs. So I have quite a lot of there. It's kind of like half storage area, half cleaning or a laundry room, which is kind of like I feel like everybody's laundry room. Ours is just shoved in like the corner of the kitchen. So and I saw this and thought it was perfect for the bar downstairs. If my Sims game updates before this is over, we'll jump into it too. I think it is done, so we can jump in afterwards. Sweet. And do a tour, because like you can't really take in all the details when it's going at this speed, right? Even though this is going to be like an hour-long video, we're only 33 minutes in. We haven't even started on the bedrooms or the living room or outside, because whenever you have cats and dogs, it's pretty important. I was like finishing up with the kitchen whenever I realized like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be about cats and dogs. And that's whenever I threw in like the dog food and water bowl. I felt like these two shelves like combined looked really, really good next to each other to create like this cabinet area. All right, now we're moving on to the living room. So I wanted this room to also be super cozy and comfortable, just like the Kind of like the same feel as the dining room, but like way more cozy and like less formal. Ooh, I love that big sitting area. It just looks so cozy. Like you go curl up with like a like cup of tea and like just read all day. So the layout of this room is a little bit weird, and I realized that this living room is huge, and I could have probably split it up, but I did kind of, what's kind of funny is I did kind of what we did in our living room here, where I moved all of the couches and like TV area up to the front, and then I have like room in the back for like activities. In this it would be skill building, but like here we have like, we're gonna get a game table, and we have our like board games on a shelf and books and stuff to kind of like fill the space without making it look cluttered. I don't know. Here's where I'm trying to decide what I want to put the TV on, because you have to have a massive TV, otherwise it's not acceptable. And then I realized the TV would go on there, so you have to have this lower one, which is still fine. I feel like that TV's kind of small for this size room, but it's the biggest we could put on something without putting on the wall because the windows are there. You probably wouldn't want all the windows with that TV, but that's okay. It's better to have your TV in front of the windows instead of at an angle to them. That way there's less glare. Although I think there's windows in that perpendicular, yeah, this side over here. I just kind of skipped past the curtains in here. I was like, I don't care. Here's some freaking curtains. I can't even with curtains anymore. Just getting in everything that you would see in like a living room, like a stereo system. And this is where I was like, oh yeah, cats and dogs. I was like, cat stuff. So I put in a cat tree. Oh, I didn't even put that in down here. I kind of limited the cats and dogs aspect to their rooms. And then just sprinkled in like dog toys, dog food bowl, or animal food bowl, whatever. And just left the rest of the house to the humans, I guess, which is kind of silly, especially since I shoved the kids all into one room, but well. It's about the cats and dogs. I love that easel. I love an H-frame easel, which is what I have. I think they work so much better than A-frame, and they're so much sturdier. I don't have any A-frames. I don't think so. My little one's still an H-frame. Well, it's a tabletop frame. But I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I wanted to shove in that lamp. Having a lamp right over you when you're reading. Oof. Man, that would be so fun to just sit there and read. I wish there was a bigger, like a round chair, like a big barrel chair. So much more comfortable in this game. I know it's just for aesthetic, but like you could have some lounges. That would be so nice. And then I felt like the walls are kind of blank in here. You would just have blank walls. So I just kind of throw up some random stuff. There's like the cats and dogs like pictures over there, but you can't really see it in the speed up. We'll have to like jump in the game. So now I'm working on the individual cats and dogs room. There's one room for cats and one room for dogs. They're pretty similar. The cats just have, you know, climbable stuff. The dogs have toys and a lot more big beds and stuff. But I went full on in these rooms. I was like, this is the cat room. So I got the cat climby thingamabobber, and then that tree so they can jump on that, and then I sprinkled in some beds, and I have all the toys, and then I didn't know what else to put in the room, so I started picking out every single little thing that had a cat on it. Cat little thing, which they would probably knock all that shit off. Imagine if you actually had cats, they would just knock all of that stuff off of there. But I felt like you needed like at least one little table to keep like store stuff like treats and food and stuff, medication in, and also it would have just looked like a very big empty room. I got a nice plush carpet in there, curtains that the cats can tear up because that's what they do, with little fishies on it. And then I realized that cats don't really care about the walls. Oh yeah, you have to have the litter box in there, and also I wanted to put food down or up here too, because like this is their room, and you know, you could just shove their food bowls in here and not have to worry about it. But I didn't like the idea of only having one. Oh, and I pulled out every single little cat thing and made them like standing on stuff and jumping. And I think it's so cute because I have like the little fish above the food bowl, little cat and mouse. And I have all these like little sticker wall decal things, and then I have like one nice painting per room. Like I found this painting, I was like, yes, this is the master of the cats. He must go in here. And then I have the little neon signs that you know it's the cat room. And then I kind of just like copy this look and feel over to the dog room. Oh, this is where I decided to put in more bowls because I was like, wait, this is cats and dogs. They're not gonna have one cat. Although it'd be really funny if you had one cat for this giant room, right? It would be so funny. It's like, they have 3 beds. You only have one cat. I know you can't have 6 animals and 4 Sims in this game without a mod, but I just thought it would be funny to have like 3 cats, 3 dogs, and a couple kids to like brown them up. And I put the little mats under it because you have to have a mat under. I guess there's no water bowl for animals. They don't need water in the game, which is fine, I guess. I did green in the dog room because it's my favorite color. It's about me, so. And then I put 2 big dog beds and a little dog bed just because like another big one wouldn't really fit in there. And the dogs didn't have as much stuff as the cats, so it's kind of open. I put in some dog toys and stuff, but I just was like, well, it's beds and food. That's all a dog needs. And then I put all of these dog sticker decals on there because they're so cute. Honestly, I don't think there was as many as there were cats, but it's okay. And I have to change the colors. And I make them, I always like doing that. I like mismatching the food in the dispenser because I think it looks cooler, but put in the official painting of the guy who owned the dogs and all the little dog statues because they're so cute. All right, now we're moving on to, this is where I realized they were sticking through the floor. The kids' room. Nope, the master bedroom. Yeah, the people who own this house, right? What does their bedroom look like? I don't know about the layout of this room necessarily. I might have done a little bit differently if I had thought about it, but oh yeah, that's where I found those, and I was like, this fits perfectly, and I really do like that. But I keep it pretty basic. I built in this closet. I felt like they would have a walk-in closet. You have like a nice master bedroom. In hindsight, it would have been nice to have them like walk-in closet behind the bathroom. So I should have probably rearranged that a bit, but like realistically, you would have the bathrooms next to each other, right, for cost savings. All 3 of the bathrooms are kind of in the same central location, which is what they do in real houses. Is they put all the plumbing in one place, right? Just to make it a little bit cheaper. Although it's nowhere near the kitchen, but that's okay. Or the laundry room for that matter. So we're just getting like the little essentials in here and nothing too extravagant. I struggle with the stupid window coverings yet again. And I put one on the door just because like we have a sliding glass door in our room and we have a giant curtain over it because otherwise it would just be light all the time. So I thought about putting a curtain on it, but I was worried that it wouldn't work in the game. And then I put in a reading chair because these people love to read. I hate that closet doesn't look like a little bit better, you know what I mean? And I feel like that corner was really dark, so I did put a light there. And then I was like, oh, a giant empty corner. I'll put a plant there. And then I didn't know what to hang up in your bedroom. Like, we have nothing on the walls in our bedroom. Our bedroom is so empty. Like, we have a bed, one nightstand, and the TV stand and TV, and that's like it. And it echoes. Like, it's so empty. So I never know what to put in a bedroom. It's just like, who decorates a bedroom, right? I mean, when you're a kid, you do, obviously, because it's your whole world, but... And you can reflect that in this, where, like, the adult bedroom is nothing, and then the kid's bedroom is literally everything they own. I really like how the kid's bedroom turned out. So I made it for, like, a little boy and his baby sister, kind of. So I put in a toddler bed and a kid bed. And I kind of built it out like it was a little girl and her big brother. And, yeah, I just did a little bit on each side. little bit of girlier stuff on the left side and boy stuff on the right side. I could have built this into 2 rooms, but I didn't because I liked the idea of the kids having their own like deck, which I mean, I guess you wouldn't want your toddler out there, but I like the idea of the kids having like essentially a tree house, right? Which is like this big porch area that they can just like go out and play on whenever it's nice out, which I thought was a cute idea. So I'm just shoving as much stuff in this room as possible because kids' bedrooms are always like that, right? They have so much stuff that it's cluttered, and if there's 2 kids in here, it's just got to be packed to the gills with toys and stuff and things on the walls and collectibles. So, and I do that out on the deck too. I put a lot of stuff. I guess it doesn't have to be a girl and a boy. I put softer colors on the left side and deeper colors on the other side. It could kind of be both, I guess. There's not like boy girl colors, but I just imagine like a big brother and his little sister. And I put this little light here. It's so cute. Oh, I guess I didn't, but it's so cute. And I put in the wall sconces because at first I didn't want these like overhead lights, but it was just so dim, which they fixed the lighting a lot. Getting in more toys and stuff to put outside because I want it to be a play area outside too. And I imagine that dollhouse is like plastic or whatever. I don't know. We didn't have fancy wooden dollhouses whenever I was a kid. I figured this has to go in this house. We have to have this. And I like shoved some stuff under the thing too. I don't think it's usable, but it's cute. That's all that matters. And just throwing up posters and stuff like you would see in a kid's room. Like there's no blank walls in a kid's room. It does not matter. Unless that kid just can't buy posters. But you always get like free posters from like school or magazines or something. I love these lights. I love the little square lights. I think they look so good. So out on the master bedroom patio, I wanted it to be like a safe haven, like where they go to relax with their coffee in the morning and not have to be worrying about their kids or their animals. It's just kind of like a zen zone that's only for the parents. They can do a little gardening and just have like a nice peaceful retreat from like the hectic of everyday life and stuff. So I kind of filled this with like some cozy furniture, even like you know, it's a cozy place where you sit with like your whole family. Like the kids are even out here sitting and just like enjoying breakfast in the morning or something like that. Just kind of like a chill zone. I put like the meditation thing and the yoga thing because I can imagine the parents out here doing yoga, and just like a few plants to kind of like make it more natural. And then on the kids side, it's kind of the opposite of that. I put a few like chairs out here because I imagine they have their friends over and they just sit and like, I don't know, shoot. What do kids do nowadays? They just sit and play on their phones. And I also put quite a few toys out back here too because I imagine their toys would, anything that could stand being outside would spill outside and be playable out there. So I could imagine you playing like all kinds of stuff on this deck as a kid. I would have loved it as a kid. It's kind of like a treehouse when you think about it. So now we're moving on to the yard. Man, I sure do hate the fences in this game. There's some newer ones now that are okay, but this is the only like normal fence, I guess. I don't know, the fences in this game are so stylized and nothing like what you would see here. This is probably the closest to what you'd see here at like a really rich house. But yeah, so I wanted to put a pool in the back because, I mean, why would you have a giant house like this without a pool? But I didn't want it to just be a square because nobody has just like a square pool, right? So I made it like this like long scalloped edged pool or whatever, and I like how that turned out. I think it looks good. It doesn't just look like a lap pool. Honestly, it's a little small probably for the size of this house, but we fill in the backyard pretty well. I was trying to find a grass that didn't look like this is the only grass that looks like it's not dying and it's not like ultraviolet, because that lighter green is like neon. And that is not natural in any way. Just trying some terrain paint. And we'll put it more a little bit later whenever we get everything out here. And then on the front side of this, I wanted it to be a little bit more like landscapey. So I put in a lot of like shrubbery, like you would see in a nice house like this, and like fenced in flower boxes, right? So you would see like a house like this, you would see like these nice sculpted shrubs in their nice little lined boxes. And that's all I did here. Just like every house around here is like this. I don't know if that's the word it is like everywhere, but this is what you would see. The front porch is very manicured, or the front yard rather. It's very manicured, maybe 1 or 2 trees, depending on where you live. And then these nice little like garden boxes around the house. I love those trees. Those birch trees are so pretty. And I put a bunch of trees in here. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but I just put in trees that I like the shape of. Yeah, you have to kind of cheat that fence in there, otherwise it glitches out the wall. And now we're working on the back patio. Nope, the front patio, just lying. Or just lying. So that mailbox right there is kind of like the craftsman style that they now do have in like pillars and stuff, but I wish they would have had whenever I did this, because it would have been perfect. Man, getting this front bit to look okay was so hard. What I should have done is probably that, honestly. It looks just fine, but I was conflicted. The brick looks nice too. I just hate how you can't bring this all the way to the edge, so I kind of just like pretended like it ended there and there's like, you know, a sidewalk or something. And then I put in like decorative stuff that you would have on your front porch when you don't really use it, which is a few planter boxes and some benches for whenever your little girl grows up and brings home boyfriends or girlfriends. And they have to sit on the front porch so they can be watched. So out back, I went ahead and put a lot of activities out back. I don't know, I just wanted it to be like a usable space where the family gathers. So I put in a place to eat, a place to grill, because you can't have a back deck like this without being able to grill. I did some like planter boxes here, but I didn't do them as full. I guess I did do them as full on as the front. Not as manicured, right? So there's more like freestyle back here. They kept wanting to pop up on the foundation. I should have put the I learned after I did this that you could put all the plants down around the foundation and then pop it up and it looks a little bit better. But it turned out okay. I think it looks okay. And then I got a little seating area so you can eat out there with the whole fam. I don't know what that was. And then I have like the garden or the flower arranging station. Some kids' toys that you would see mom's like herb garden. And then I went into detailing this pool, which I probably put way too much effort into, honestly. I just like the idea of like a really nice pool. I put little turtles at the bottom because I love them. Little mommy turtle and 3 little baby turtle, or 4 little baby turtles. They're so cute. And you gotta have the sweet ass pool lights in. It's probably too many pool lights, right? I don't know. I was really OCD about spacing them for some reason. Yeah, and then I realized you couldn't have the lights there if you had a diving board. I don't know. It's weird. You gotta have the drains in. Those drains are probably really big for the size of the pool, but whatever. And then I put in the stuff. You always see like I don't know, maybe it's just like how my grandma's pool was. But they had like a nice landscaped area around it and like tile. I guess to keep the pool clean. I don't know. It's just what I always see around pools is this like tiled edge around it. At least for in-ground pools. So that's what I did. We don't put fences around our pools here. Makes a lot of sense why you would, but we don't do that. So I didn't do that. It's only since I started watching a lot of like European or like Australian streamers that I'm like, oh yeah, fence around the pool makes a lot of sense. You see that at public pools, right? Like all public pools have fences around them, but not in your backyard. It's safer, but I'm putting in toys for the kids, and you'll see in a little bit. I remember again that this is about the cats and dogs. I wanted to do this nice little like mini like shed. No, I guess not shed. I don't know. Like covered area for this hot tub. It worked out. It just took a lot more effort than I ever intended it to for something that didn't matter. I could not get the fence to go back there. It's so annoying. Luckily, I was able to do it though. And then I realized it had to have this cut off edge, otherwise it'd be hanging over the pool and might be a little bit weird. And I did put, oddly enough, around the hot tub, I put in a fence, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's what you would see around here, you know, like you would have like this cute little like covered area for the hot tub, because hot tubs are usually on the back porch or patio area, and they're always covered here because I don't know, they just always are. And then I tried I tried desperately to get a roof that would both work on this squareness and this cutout edge, and like I just gave up because like nothing looked normal. I mean, maybe that would have been okay, but it just wasn't. It wasn't okay. So I just put a big one on it. I was like, it's fine. Nobody cares about the cutout piece. I didn't even need to do a cutout piece. I just did it for structural sake anyway. Yeah, I'm just going around putting the roof trim on that. Can't copy roof trim at this point for some reason. But yeah, I think it turned out kind of cute and something that you would see in like this nice landscaped fancy backyard. I also put in more seating down here just because I felt like it was just this big open area otherwise, and didn't make a lot of sense. I was trying to get it to face outward, but the chairs didn't really make sense there, so I had to put them on the inner edge, which is probably okay. A couple people can't look out in the yard. Adding in some more plants, especially since she's got like the flower making area. This side I didn't do much on. I just imagined there'd be a lot more like kids' toys and stuff there over the years. Hoses, pool equipment, stuff. And then I put a dog door in, or a pet door in, because I was like, oh yeah, cats and dogs. So I put that in there. Because I kept forgetting. It's terrible. Probably should put a water bowl outside too. They can just drink out of the pool. No, they cannot. Don't let your animals drink out of the pool. And then I remembered it's cats and dogs. I went through and was like, what can I put outside for cats and dogs? Ooh, and I put this fish tank in. Classic. It's very like 90s, right? To have this giant fish tank behind your couch. I thought it just made sense to fill up that space a little. So I put in all this agility stuff for the dogs. There's not anything that you can really put outside for cats. So I guess all the cats are indoor cats. I put in a little bit more landscaping. Just adding touches here and there. Just places that are missing, like this welcome mat. And then I realized these floors are really boring, so I was looking for rugs forever. Forever. I just don't like any of the rugs. I think they have better rugs now. Also, sizing up and down rugs is ridiculous. There's no like simple sizing. Like you saw that one was like ginormous after I sized it up. Ugh. I guess I'm just not a rug person. I get a rug, it's plain and boring. And then I put these runners in, but I feel like the runners are really small. Like that looks so small, so I sized them up and they looked a lot better. I think they looked more natural sized up, even like the pattern size and everything. Oh, I put a little clock in there. Just kind of going through and seeing what little corners of the house I needed to add a little more oomph to. I wish they had more of those like little picture arrangements, so you have to use the same ones every single time. But it always looks like family photos, right? That's why I like them, because that's what you would have in like a hallway like this, just like a few family photos. At this point, I'm just like going through the gallery and seeing like what would look good in certain places, like this little shade, or you know, more stuff for outside. And I have a gate out the back. We always had one at our last house because we had a school behind us, which was really convenient when my sister went to that school. But I just felt like in The Sims it would be nice to have a gate in the back, so I put a gate in the back. But yeah, that's the end. So let's see if we can load up this game and jump into that build so we can kind of take like a full-on tour. I also hate that they unpause. Oh, good, they didn't. Okay. All right, get out of here. Get out of here. We're just here to look. Okay, so this is the outside. Oh, this is not summertime apparently, so the plants kind of look dead, but that's okay. So the outside I think turned out really good. This is like a statement build or whatever. There we go. I think it turned out pretty good. In the backyard turned out pretty good. I think the pool looks classic. And you got all of the stuff here. All of the stuff. And I put in a bee box too because I felt like this family would definitely have bees. You got all the little play stuff for the dogs so you could teach them agility and train them. You have a little bucket for water balloons. But I imagine it's filled with like balls and stuff. And you have like this little planter area, little seating area, and then the food and the grill. And I'll also put bubbles here because I'm cutting my bubbles. And this is like the little Zen garden upstairs where you have a bunch of plants and stuff like on the wall. But also you have like the meditation and yoga mat. And then this is the kids side where there's like toys and fun stuff to do. All right, let's see if we can go inside here. We gotta slowly walk in. It's just really slow whenever you do this. So this is where you come into the I don't know if there's a way to lower this. And mouse to look around, arrows and a keyboard to move up. Okay. Okay. Also, I should probably have music running. Okay, so we got the outside. This is the entryway where you come in and it's like cozy and stuff. Can I go? No, they're not gonna let me go down, are they? Just thinking like it would have a way to go, like move up and down. So this is like the little entryway. Nothing really that special. I did put a mirror so you can check yourself. A little like umbrella holder, and then you would either come into here, which is like the dining room. I wish I could like be lower. There we go. The little dining room, which they have like nice decorations on the wall. This nice table, another mirror because I didn't know what else to put there. I love this little bar area. This turned out like really good. And then like the swords. This is just like a cozy little like formal dining area with like the chandelier. I love this chandelier, by the way. I want something like this in real life in my house. And then you come around here into this nice big archway that looks into the bright kitchen where you have a breakfast eating area, which I kind of wish I would have left the sink over there. I think it would have looked better. And then you have like a few decorations. The bin, you gotta have the bin. The like cup area where you have like coffee and stuff like that, and like you can see out here to the nice hot tub. And you can see out here to the back, you have pots and pans, a nice stove. You can see the pool from out here, and also the kids playing in while you're in the kitchen, because that's important. And food and like a little thing for like appointments and whatnot. And you have the dogs and cats being able to eat there. You have this little area, so you have the shoe rack and the place to put on your shoes and your hat before you go outside. Nice little clock. Dog toys, because that's important. And the coat rack, because you gotta have that. And this is the downstairs bathroom. Nothing really of significance down here. Let's see. This is the living room, and it turned out really good. It's kind of plain, I guess, but the focus should really be on the TV. Honestly, the TV should be bigger. And I put in this sweet freaking fish tank, which I love. A little reading nook. Cozy place to little sit. I probably should have put a rug there. Probably would have looked nice. Okay, how did I do that? Apparently going diagonally was a little bit faster. Let's go upstairs. How do I do that? It's a nice little hallway, and you come up here on this little landing where you have like this nice little reading area, and you have a painting area, which is nice because it's this little window area, and you gotta have the gaming PC, obviously. And then I have like a little picture frame for you know, the kids are on a team or something, and then like crafts and books and stuff. And then in here is the laundry room. Nothing too special, it's just kind of where they store all the cleaning supplies. And then in here is the kids' bedroom, which I went full on with. I wanted it to look like a kid's bedroom, which it does. Honestly, I could have probably put more, but it's just so bright and cluttered and beautiful. And then that goes out to their deck area, which we looked at earlier. And then down this hallway, I put in all of these because I feel like a giant empty hall like this needs something. Honestly, I should have put carpet upstairs. I think that would have been more comfortable. So let's look at the bathroom and the master bedroom. So here's the bathroom. Just kind of clean and perfect for kids. These mirrors are way too high in my opinion, because like this is like a 6 foot tall person, right? Like kids couldn't look at that. Anyway, shower, bath, all that stuff. You had to put the bath in for animals because you can't wash your dogs otherwise. Also, this door should have been flipped, but then you come in here and down this long hallway, you have the master bedroom with the closet, and it's just kind of cozy, right? And then they have their ensuite bathroom, which is nice because it has this nice jacuzzi tub and a nice window and everything. And then they have their zen area out there. And then back out here in the first room, we have the cat's room, which we have our sailor, Captain Kitten. We got a feeding area, got the cat lamp and the cat trees. And this is probably one of my favorite things. He's gonna get that fish. You got the litter box. Yeah, so it's cat everything. The house, I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, this is the cat room. There's cat stuff. This is probably stuff that would all get knocked down by cats, honestly. But yeah, and then on the other side, I put a bunch of like pictures and stuff in the hallway because like family portraits and stuff. And then this is the dog room where you have sailor dog, and then you have feeding tray. This stuff would not get knocked down, maybe by tails actually. And there's not really much to put in a dog room, so there's just like some beds and a few decals. There's not as many dog decals as there is cat ones, which is kind of sad. But yeah, that's the house. It's turned out pretty good, I think, in the end. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to do some more builds. I don't know if I'll do more speed builds, but if they're big houses like this, where it's like, this took 8 hours, then I will probably do more like build, record, shrink down the size, and like present them. But yeah.